very good evening. Welcome to BCN News. Niue hosted the Foreign Fisheries Agency's Director General, Dr. Manu Tupo Rosen, this week with a focus on women in fisheries leadership. Today, the women put that leadership into action as female staff of the Ministry of Natural Resources went out fishing early this morning, while the men and some invited guests participated on vakas. This was to mark World Tuna Day. Although the day falls in May, it was decided to mark the day during the visit of the Foreign Fisheries Agency's Director General. Staff members and Dr. Tupo Rosen departed the wharf in the early hours of this morning for fishing ventures, only to return by the cut-off time at 10 a.m. for weigh-in before distributing prizes.
It's been an amazing visit to Niue. It's such a privilege to come in country, especially to one of the most beautiful countries in the world. We've had a brilliant time here with the program that's been set up by Honourable Mona, Dr. Josie Poi, Director, and the team here. And we've had such a warm welcome and a very meaningful visit. Yesterday we had an event with the women here, and it was very heartwarming and sharing stories, experiences about ensuring that we empower women. And today, the magic of fishing. And we did catch something today. We were determined not to come back empty-handed, but it just reminds us of the work we do and why we must give it our best. The clear message from this week's visit is that we're doing this for our people, our children, our future.
This is the first visit by the Director General of FFA.
Having women involved in everything we do is critical. If we're going to truly progress sustainable development, we can't just be working with half of our population or half of our population leading. We must bring all women with us, including our youth. When we think about climate change, this is a conversation that's not just for leaders, it's for all sectors in our society. So what has been really enriching, what has been just amazing this week is to see that Niue embraces that all levels, including children, have a voice in important conversations that will affect their future. So we're leaving Niue tomorrow with a strong sense of optimism on how well things are going here. We're committed to see how FFA, the Secretariat, can assist in progressing anything that needs to be done here in Niue to ensure the continued success of Niueans.
I think sometimes people don't see the role of women, and some of them, at the moment they're out in businesses, they're out in their fishing charter. At the moment we don't have a female staff in the fisheries division, but we've had over the years, we've had female staff. At the moment, the load has been shared by myself as the Director General. We've got a tuna fisheries background, it's all about application act. So what we're looking for is to make sure that our tuna stock is harvested sustainably and outside the world, because tuna is transboundary.
Niue's wastewater issues were top on the agenda, with visiting consultants engaged with Niue's agencies consulting on mitigation efforts to protecting both Niue's environment while progressing with development here in Niue. Relevant agencies at the forum last Thursday included the Public Works Department, Health and the Ministry of Natural Resources and the Ridge to Reef. Niue's water woes are not new, with drinking water in previous years being examined due to the contamination of bores, with consumers being warned. It does beg the question, however, of how much of donor funding is vested in helping Niue's environment and the transparency around where the increased departure tax also is being spent, having been allocated to waste management. The UN mission to Niue has seen the arrival of 9 representatives from the UN, although some assigned under specialist agencies, including the UNDP and UNESCO. United Nations Resident Coordinator for Samoa, Cook Islands, Niue and Tokelau spoke to BCN News about their mission to Niue.
The United Nations mission to Niue is meant to report back to the government on the achievements of our UN Pacific strategy, so the results achieved in 2018. We delivered almost $1.8 million across different outcome areas, primarily working on climate change and environment sustainability, but also on basic services as well as on governance and on human rights. So we are here to report back, but we also, within the context of the UN reform, aim to have a country framework for Niue that would identify better the needs that the country has and the integrated support that the UN can bring to the table.
She says the UN is undertaking a reform and changes are expected for Niue, including a UN volunteer to enhancing capacity with a national officer for the Joint President's Office to be recruited. Reporting, she says, from the appointment will be directly to her and onto the UN Secretary General.
The United Nations reform for the Pacific means practically redefining the offices we have. So we operate through two hubs, one in Samoa and another one in Fiji, but with over 800 staff of the United Nations scattered throughout the Pacific. Wherever we are not present with a big office, we have a joint presence office in which we recruit national experts, and Niue has such an office in which we will soon recruit a national officer with high development skills, development knowledge, as well as UN volunteers that we bring to enhance the capacity. The UN volunteer for Niue will start in October this year and will be on the ground for 2 years. And we expect the national officer for the Joint Presence Office to be recruited soon as well.
The concerns raised at the UN Reform and Sustainable Development Goals meeting held yesterday is the challenge of human capacity. She highlighted their desire to redesign processes to make the most of human capacity with UN mandates.
In Niue, we think that there is significant knowledge, there are systems in place. The problem is with the human capacity to deliver. So the discussion today was, shouldn't we define our integrated support to ensure that with the human capacities we have, we deliver more and better. Redesigning the governance system, maybe also looking into external partnerships and drawing on some of the developments that the country will have, which primarily look into infrastructure and ICT infrastructure. Technology is a great enabler for human capacities to deliver more. I would say that Niue has some constraints that come with the geography, with the position in the Pacific, with the size, but I'm also encouraged by the way Niue is capable of drawing on external resources. Niue has been able to deliver a lot under the Global Environment Facility, GEF. We will soon have another project here looking into renewable energy with a significant amount of funds brought in. So that's a sign that the government is seen as capable of delivering.
The oil spill exercise facilitated by Niue's bulk field drew in a large crowd yesterday at the Niue Golf and Sports Club, with many government sectors in attendance as with community members. Key spokesperson and facilitator George Valiana welcomed everyone before allowing the Director General Andre Siohane and Lindsay Talangi in separate presentations elaborate more on the national plan and relevant conventions with steps to accommodating gaps. Discussions and queries were highly robust pertaining to oil spills in general, both minor and major, including the situation analysis, operations teams, and response mechanisms. Concerns were rife around the number of yacht incidents, and especially post-raggages, and that of environmental damage to the likes of the distant Beveridge Reef, with accountability to the owners of these vessels have for damage left to Niue. Activities on a Sunday and emergencies via entry on private land were also discussed. And that's BCN News for tonight. Thank you for watching. Have a great weekend.